So anyway, we'll jump on with this now. First thing here, guys, is employee empowerment, right? So we're moving on now to just another part of the course. If they do ask you about employee empowerment, right, the main thing you want to spot here is this is where the business gives the employees the responsibility to make decisions on their own without having to ask for the manager's permission. And the big thing as well in that is it does come with restrictions. Like the employees aren't just suddenly left in charge of the business, but they are given extra power where they can make decisions without having to call the manager. The benefit overall of employee empowerment, if you've got very capable employees, this is really good for the business, because in a simple way of looking at it, for the business, from the workers' point of view, they are suddenly now they've got a bigger say in the business, they're more motivated, their skills are being developed, and then the manager on the other side has got a lot more free time, right? So that's just the broad look at it. But no matter what, before you go anywhere, if you're asked about employee empowerment, please just stress the word responsibility. Employees are given responsibility to make decisions on their own without having to ask for the manager's permission. Right, what are the benefits of employee empowerment? So the first benefit there is a customer benefit is employees can solve problems on the spot. So imagine if you're in a restaurant and you've got a complaint, something goes wrong. Well, the business can just solve that issue on the spot. That's the first thing, because the employees have the power to do so. Next thing then, guys, there's going to be an employee benefit here will be there's going to be increased motivation. All right, so that's the next one then. So again, what you see here is because employees are given more responsibility, that's very good for their morale. Their self-actualization needs are being met. Remember when we circling back to Maslow? So that's one benefit. And also then is that it's also using up the employee skills and talents, because they get to develop their decision-making skills. So imagine if just you're working in a restaurant and your boss says, look, you can give refunds to customers if they're not happy. But obviously, if the customers are being unreasonable, you don't have to give a refund. But the benefit for the employee is they get to decide, and they're given more responsibility, and they develop their decision-making skills. That's the main thing that they want you guys to be able to remember from employee empowerment. The last one there from the business's perspective is the manager now has a lot more free time to focus on other issues, because they're not dealing with the employee ringing them up every 10 minutes with a question or with an issue that they may have. So overall, guys, they're the benefits of employee empowerment for the customer, for the employee, and also then for the manager. All right, so just make sure when you're stressing it, when they say from the manager's experience, you're able to say stuff like the manager, when they've more free time, they can focus on strategic and tactical planning. That's just something else that they're going to want to see there. The other little simple question there is employee empowerment risk-free? No. There's a couple of issues here. The employees can make the wrong decision if they're given too much freedom, and there needs to be better restrictions and training in place. Okay, so also then some workers might not like it because they may feel it's very stressful, and that might demotivate them. So unless there's proper supervision, just workers can make bad decisions, and that's going to be a drawback of it, okay? So make sure you've got that there. If they say what are the risks or what are the drawbacks, or if they ask you to evaluate employee empowerment, there's a couple of negatives that you can throw down there. And that's really important, because you're showing the examiner that you're able to discuss both sides of it. Again, guys, you just need to stress, make sure you cover that well. It's just one that they can throw out quite a bit at you. And just remind yourself there, in order for this to work properly, it must come with proper restrictions, like proper control mechanisms in place. You cannot put the employees just in charge of the business. That's going to be very problematic for the business. All right, that's brilliant. Summarize on one page there. And that's fine. One little small thing there as well, it says like, what are the barriers to employee empowerment? Dead easy. Do you remember when we came back against the autocratic manager? And remember, that autocratic manager is not willing to consult with their staff, and they're not willing to delegate any responsibility to their staff. So if they ask you what's a barrier to employee empowerment, there's two big ones to look out for. The first is if the manager is autocratic and refuses to relinquish any power. And then also the staff may be inexperienced. And if you're looking at your business and saying, look, my staff are not properly experienced for this job, it would be reckless to actually give them any, too much responsibility. That's going to pose as another barrier to employee empowerment.